Hello everyone, this is Octodries, and this is why you, yes you, should learn Ancient Greek. So there are a bunch of different reasons why you should learn Ancient Greek that everyone says. You know, they're culturally, philosophically, and historically important texts like Plato's Republic that you can never really truly understand until you learn the language. There are also long-term academic benefits to learning Ancient Greek. It sets you apart from so many other students by nature of how few people actually have the opportunity of learning it. Not to mention the significant cognitive benefits to learning it. After you do get a grasp of the language, it helps you learn other modern Indo-European languages like French, German, Polish, or even Spanish. Or maybe you'll even find some newfound secret ancient wisdom that only the most esoteric cult that has been lost for thousands of years would use. But, I'm not going to talk about any of that. When you learn Ancient Greek, it makes binge watching shows or even any other media like books or YouTube videos so much better. And when you learn Ancient Greek and you read all the different stories, things just seem to click. Maybe it's a sense of deja vu, and maybe it's the language giving you a bit of insanity, just seeing things that aren't really there. Or maybe, just maybe, you're learning something about how stories and sometimes how good stories are made. And I think that this is because when you learn Ancient Greek, you're exposed to the topos koinos, or if you're a Latin speaker, gross, the locus or topica, or in English, for most of my audience, the tropes. And a trope is a theme or device that draws on other stories to help the audience find their place in the current story or medium. Sadly, the modern definition of a trope has negative connotations, almost like a cliche. So when I use it in this context, a better definition for a trope is really closer to a specific device that's prevalent in their specific genre. For example, YouTube videos tend to have loud and energetic intros. Love stories have the enemies to lovers arcs. And essays tend to use high academic language to confuse the audience and make the argument sound better than it actually is. So obviously there are both good and bad uses of tropes. These don't necessarily take away from the story or media, they just set a framework for the creator to work in. And oftentimes, since the audience is familiar with these tropes, it helps them understand better. So when you learn Ancient Greek, it actually makes you understand these tropes a lot better, and it helps you appreciate different sorts of media a lot more. I really love adventure epics. My favorite poem is The Odyssey, my favorite novel is Moby Dick, and my favorite anime is One Piece. Although Moby Dick doesn't have this trope, both The Odyssey and One Piece have the trope of the games. And this is really common to adventure epic. The Odyssey has the athletic competitions in Book 8, and One Piece has the Foxy Pirates or Davy Back fight arc. Side note, I don't really feel bad about spoiling this because this is a filler arc in One Piece, so you're not really losing anything canon. I guess it's technically anime canon, and The Odyssey has been released for thousands of years. Both of these spoil themselves anyways. Luffy can't go 5 minutes without saying that he's going to be king of the pirates, and Odysseus goes home. Oh, sorry, I ruined it for you. My bad, mea culpa. But don't worry, I'll give you a brief rundown of what happens in both arcs, so you don't feel that lost. Leading up to Book 8 in the Odyssey, Odysseus loses his whole crew and washes up on the shore of Phaeacia. Sorry, spoilers. Athena makes Odysseus look all handsome and smart because in the ancient world, and to some extent in the real world, being attractive makes you a good person. In Book 8, Athena disguises herself as Alcinous, and she gathers all the people to organize a feast in Odysseus' honor, and real Alcinous has no idea who this guy is. During the feast, the bard Demodocus sings of the Trojan War, moving Odysseus to tears, and Alcinous notices and suggests that the group transitions to athletic competitions. Though initially declining due to exhaustion, Odysseus eventually accepts the challenge after being taunted by some rapscallion teenager. And believe it or not, he easily wins the discus event, displaying his strength while balancing politeness towards his host. Later, the bard Demodocus tells a really funny story of Ares and Aphrodite's affair, showcasing the theme of cunning over brute strength, because, of course, the smart guy always wins. After that story, Odysseus graciously forgives the rapscallion, accepts gifts before again weeping at the retelling of the Trojan horse. Odysseus loves to cry. Alcinous again sees Odysseus crying and makes him reveal his true identity. Now, let's talk about what happens in the Davy Back fight arc. The arc revolves around the Davy Back fight, where pirates compete in various challenges for high stakes, both losing crew members potentially and also their pride. The Straw Hats encounter the Foxy Pirates who challenge them to the Davy Back fight on long Ring Long Land Island, which is super easy to say. The actual Davy Back fight consists of 3 rounds: a boat race, the donut race, a ball game, the Groggy Ring, and a combat event. And Foxy's always cheating, using his slow beam, which gives an unfair advantage to his crew. The Straw Hats lose some rounds, but eventually win, with Luffy facing off Foxy in a final showdown aboard Foxy's ship. Surprise, Luffy wins. And after their victory, the Straw Hats regain their dignity, their crew members, and the Foxy Pirates leave, and just like normal, the Straw Hats continue their journey. But Octo, what does this have to do with learning ancient Greek? Well, thanks for asking, Reginald. Really what it does is it helps you analyze the different arcs, and enjoy them better. The Davy Back fight arc is an objectively bad and annoying arc. Foxy's annoying, the arc's way too long, and the games are not super interesting. Aside from almost losing Chopper and making him cry, which is absolutely unforgivable by the way, nothing super interesting happens. Well, I guess we almost lose Robin too, but... And this is One Piece's take on the athletic games, which is a standard trope or topos from adventure epics, and I don't even care if it isn't canon. There are also glaring similarities between these two, aside from both of them involving games and definitely not being the most important arc in the entire story. The purpose of the games are pretty much the same. They both serve as entertainment and are held to honor guests. The Phaeacians honor Odysseus, while in One Piece, Foxy challenges Luffy and his crew for pride in crew members. Both games have a display of strength and honor of the protagonists. Both Odysseus and Luffy are challenged to prove their skills. Odysseus impresses with his discus throw, while Luffy showcases his creativity and determination to win the fight against Foxy. Both stories feature taunting. In the Odyssey, the Rapscallion mocks Odysseus for not competing, and in One Piece, Foxy tries to humiliate Luffy through his trickery. But in both cases, the person who has the better taunts ends up winning, with Odysseus making fun of this Rapscallion and Luffy making fun of Foxy's nose. Also, both of them have a heavy emphasis on cheating versus fair play. Now, let's talk about PEDs, or performance enhancing deities. Throughout the entire book, Athena is helping out Odysseus, and One Piece has its equivalent with the Devil Fruits. Foxy is constantly cheating with his Noro fruit, and Luffy's constantly using his Gum fruit. And we'd usually think about these external advantages as cheating and bad in normal circumstances, but in the adventure epic, they're both really good things, and they help make the story a lot more interesting. You know, this video is actually getting kind of long, so I think it's time we wrap this up. So here's why you should learn ancient Greek. It allows you to connect to ancient themes to modern media in a way that enriches your understanding and appreciation of both. The Foxy Pirates arc is horrible, and it would have been totally awful to sit through if I hadn't read the Odyssey beforehand. And comparing the games in the Odyssey with modern adaptations like this arc makes the least enjoyable arcs more interesting by highlighting the deep-rooted connections to classical traditions. And without these comparisons, you might dismiss certain parts of the media. But with this knowledge, you can unlock new layers of meaning. So if this argument doesn't tickle your heartstrings, maybe ancient Greek isn't for you, but hopefully you'll stick around and watch some of my videos where I'm going to teach you it. If you've made it this far, then thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and to subscribe so that you can stay up to date with all the lessons. Remember, be positive and be yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.